Horvat has officially been traded. The big-time center surrounding a lot of trade drama this year from Vancouver has officially been dealt a month before the NHL trade deadline, and the new team that he will call home is the New York Islanders. Now, if you guys watched the Timo Meier mock trade video, we were talking about the Islanders potentially going after a big fish. In the 2020 trade deadline, they went after Pajot, and at the 2021 trade deadline, they got Zajac and Palmieri in a big deal with the Devils, and Lou Lamoriello has another big move up his sleeves, this time getting Bo Horvat. And for an Islanders team that really needed a big push to be able to make the playoffs, and for a Canucks team that really didn't have too much leverage in a Bo Horvat trade, I think both teams did pretty well here, honestly. When it comes to the actual Bo Horvat trade itself, it's a pretty big doozy. For the New York Islanders, they will acquire Bo Horvat from the Vancouver Canucks. In exchange, the Vancouver Canucks will get a pretty sizable haul here, getting forward Anthony Beauvillier, top prospect Aatu Räty, and a conditional first-round selection in the 2023 NHL Draft. Now, for the Canucks, trading their captain Bo Horvat is going to sting quite a bit, but I think this haul makes it a lot better. As for the Islanders, though, I think this move absolutely improves them. The thing that they need the most is goal scoring and that goal scoring presence onto that forward group, and Bo Horvat absolutely brings that. I mean, you look at the player they gave up in Anthony Beauvillier, who has 9 goals this year, and Bo Horvat has 31 goals in 49 games. And especially in that center group, he's going to make it extremely strong. And I think come playoff time, if the Islanders are to make it, I think would be a strong and consistent player for them too. And when you look at the center group now with the Islanders, they got Bo Horvat as probably the first line guy, maybe alongside Matthew Barzal. Then you got Brock Nelson, Jean-Gabriel Pageau, and Casey Zizekas. And it definitely rounds out that forward group. And again, that scoring touch, that pure scoring touch is really what the Islanders need right now. Now, considering what the Canucks did get back in a Bo Horvat trade, even though losing Bo Horvat absolutely stings, I think this package and this return makes it a little bit lesser so. You, of course, got Anthony Beauvillier, who this year in 49 games has 20 goals, and that finishing has been just a real inconsistent thing for him so far in his career. I mean, just a couple of years ago, he got 39 points in 68 games, looked to be a consistent top 6 guy, but just that inconsistencies of the lack of consistent production has truly kind of held him back from being at that great top 6 status. He'll likely be a solid middle sixer for the Canucks, but not a guy that truly moves the needle. But then you, of course, got the big prospect in Aatu Räty, who has been progressing extraordinarily well with the Islanders. At age 20, Aatu Räty was drafted 52nd overall by the Islanders back in the 2021 draft, and since then has done amazing things. Right after his draft year, he was extraordinary, just under a point per game in the Liga, and then this last year took a big step into the pro levels, playing pretty solid at the AHL level, and in 12 games having 2 goals in extremely limited minutes, but looking pretty good there. Although Räty's not the flashiest player, he kind of does remind you at some points of a Bo Horvat, where he gets the job done, but especially defensively as a centerman is going to bring so much for the Canucks in the future. To me, with Räty, it all comes back to the brain on top of him. He's not the flashiest player, and he's not going to be scoring these highlight reel goals, but kind of like Bo Horvat, he does a lot of things under the radar. He works off his teammates extraordinarily well. He's under the radar and getting space, weaving around opponents, being able to combat that physical pressure. He's such a unique and already mature player at age 20. And to me, as a potential second line center of the future, I could absolutely see that. And getting that in a Bo Horvat trade, I think is pretty solid. But then we also have to go on to the first round pick in this trade, a first round pick conditional in the 2023 draft. And this is interesting because this pick is top 12 protected. So if the Islanders get a top 12 pick, they can keep that pick and then give the Canucks a 2024 pick instead. Now, I think for the Canucks, the worst case scenario is the Islanders do end up making the playoffs and they get like a 23rd overall pick or something. But if they were to miss the playoffs, the Canucks could potentially get an unprotected 2024 first round pick. And especially if Bo Horvat is just a rental, if there's no extension on this trade, which we haven't had any confirmation yet, I'm not loving the Islanders' chances of making the playoffs next year, especially with the improvements and continued improvements in the Eastern Conference. It's already so hard with this current team and how old they are to get into the playoffs. Just imagine without Bo Horvat next year. To me, that's where the Canucks could really strike gold in this trade and really get off as huge winners. But I like this trade a lot, and if the Canucks are able to get a great pick out of that, and maybe the Islanders are able to extend Bo Horvat potentially, I could see this maybe being a win-win trade. But even in the worst case scenario for the Canucks, where the Islanders are able to get into a playoff position and go pretty far, I still think this is a decent haul for Bo Horvat and a pretty solid haul overall for them. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this huge blockbuster Bo Horvat deal, and who do you think wins? Is it the Canucks? Is it the Islanders? I slightly lean Vancouver, but we'll have to see what ends up happening. Of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and thank you guys so much for watching for the breakdown, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great one, and goodbye.